I'm much more interested in saying that being living is a superlative among the superlatives of existence, a physical existence. But even that is the same thing. I'm living. I think that might be related to why. Obviously the non-living things we can't say, well, we have properties advantageous to survival and you don't. For one thing, there's things that last, if that's survival, because they obviously don't care about the kind of survival where you eat and scrabble, right? I'm pretty sure that with no brain, they just don't care about that stuff. I feel that's a safe assumption. So what criteria could you use? How much energy is involved in your existence, or what would you use? There's really no need. But the thing is, aggrandizing life has a lot more going for it than aggrandizing humans, because humans are over-aggrandized, unaggrandize the humans, Life still struggling a little bit to be properly aggrandized. I mean, it's been aggrandized in words, but in deeds, it hasn't had that much success in humanity, human life as well as the rest. Part of the idea is, okay, we're just saying they think better. Yes, humans have reached certain superlatives. We have thought better insofar as we've been able to think of ways to use leverage points and force on the world, and to magnify our natural talents, to create machines and levers and whatnot, where what is a relatively weak animal push becomes a very strong push, and also to overwhelm by numbers and nesting. Humans are, I think it's good to be human. I think we have a lot of potential in where we could go. But really, even if you focus on the mentality, well, we're the best thinkers. We're the best at mental exercises. Not necessarily. I mean, I have seen spiders perform engineering and show better mentality for certain engineering tasks than humans. I've seen dogs with better tactical and geographic, tactical sense than humans. And as a matter of fact, most predators leave humans in the dust in terms of that kind of thing. Are those not mental activities? In the spider, a lot of people would say, oh no, it's not a mental activity. But it's made up with the nervous system made of the same kinds of chemicals and nerves we have. It's just a matter of degree. Oh yeah, but that matter of degree makes it so different that is not actually a mental activity. No, if it's an activity of a nervous system, it's a mental activity, right? Now, I think that you can have a mental activity even without a nervous system. I think it's more abstract than that. I think you can have, it has to be a slower mental activity, but you could have a mental activity with hormonal communications. I only think it's a network effect, this mental activity. Now, the way I do it is I don't see a reason to arbitrarily say, oh yeah, but I see the engineering behavior, but that's not really engineering, because that's just, no, this isn't a snowflake that just forms on its own. This is something that's built. And by the way, I'm not talking about building the web when I said I've seen a spider. I'm talking about I've seen a spider cut a leaf that was tangled in its web free. And the way it did it in the order I recognize as engineering behavior. And I could say, well, isn't that funny that something that's nothing but like an automaton, a robot that humans of course can't build, would have that engineering behavior. What an oddity. Well, this is not the way I'm going. To me, if it has engineering behavior and mental activity, then that is engineering mental activity. That's how I see it. That's how it's defined for me, and it makes perfect sense. Why? Because I can't read other humans' minds either when I see engineering activity, and I'm willing to relate it to their mental activity. It pays off to make this, because in my case also I see the relationship between my mental activity and my behavior. Okay, so why would I do it differently with other agents that don't happen to be human? There is no one way that humans are anyway. But mostly I think that, animals have tremendous amounts of cleverness, and generally it has to do with a mental activity in the sense that decisions are being made. You know, it understands some sort of thing. It's going to be heuristical. Well, humans' rules have been heuristical. It's going to be kind of a gimmick. You know, they don't really know how it works. They just do it because it works. That's how humans are. Yeah. No, it's not so obvious. Humans are as great as as human worshippers think, in my opinion. And there's a lot to learn. We should be realizing that no. Um, One of our gifts is to understand how all the other animals have better gifts than ours. That's one of our gifts, and we should get back to that. That's our traditional view, is that God robbed us and gave all the cool things to everybody else. Now we find out we have this mental and reflective ability, which is this ability to know that, and its ability to regain some of it. Like we can't fly. We used our brain to do something pretty close to it. At least we got some of the flying thrill out of it, you know, and the benefit, and we can fly all over the world like geese have been doing for thousands and thousands of years. So that's a bit of a reward, but I don't think we should give up so quickly on all the gifts we're missing out on. If we understand that they're just superlatives, even more superlative than ours, then maybe we'll study them. Because our gift, while as useful as it is somewhat mediocre. We can't be the best at any one thing, you know, any focused thing, and that includes mentality, because what we do have instead is the ability to be pretty good at almost everything. You know, it's like we can go in the water, but we don't swim as good as the fish. We're, you know, evolved to live on the land, but we're not the fastest or the best climbers. But see, we can climb. At least we can climb, you know, and we can swim. We can go up a rock face. You know, we can climb out of a pool. We can enter lots of environments. We're sort of we're the jack of all trades, master of none. Okay, so we're not the superlative. What we are is an extremely broad, mediocre thing. Okay, now we need to overcome the mediocre part. And maybe we can raise that whole level, you know, to somewhere amazing. That would be great. And I'm sure that if we do that, it'll be by embracing the superlative nature of creatures other than ourselves. Because I believe we spent, you know, 10, 15 million years kind of focused on how great we were, and maybe we should move on. I think some of the spirituality in mankind awakening in the last few tens of thousands of years is an attempt to understand this. You know, as great as we are, we're missing something. You know, as great as we are, but I do like being human.